So I guess really, you've sort of answered one part of the question already, but the other part was really about whether you've had any challenges with it being a product that your target market might not realize they need yet. So I guess I'm wondering, do most people have a reaction similar to what I had when they read it and they just instantly go, all right, I didn't know I needed an electric skateboard, but now I do? Or is it something that usually takes a bit more explaining to get through to people who aren't necessarily skateboarders?
Yeah, so yeah, it is kind of a little interesting because most people have a strong perception about skateboarding, and it's usually about, most people's perception about skateboarding is that it's about doing tricks and sort of the Tony Hawk style of skateboarding. Longboarding is actually different, so the difference between like a short board is like those are usually used more for tricks, and then longboards are used more for commuting and like cruising from point A to B. And we're actually looking to expand this sort of concept of a board that you can like get from point A to B, and making that even easier by like adding the brakes and the power and like the things that, so you don't have to like, balance and stuff as like you would on normal longboards and stuff. So we do get that comment a lot, is that people haven't really thought about skateboards and stuff as an actual like means for commuting, but it's actually something that could be like very convenient, actually, because of how minimal it is. It's the smallest vehicle you could possibly really have is just basically a platform that you stand on. So yeah, that's kind of a common comment that we do get.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so and let's going back to the sort of cost and pricing. How much are they actually costing you to make right now, if you don't mind me asking? And do you see the end retail prices being radically different?
Yeah, I mean, well, what it costs us currently to make prototypes at retail costs, it's, it would be, pretty close to what we're selling them for. But that's the reason why we're doing Kickstarter, and we need Kickstarter was to get a larger volume of sales, which will really drive our costs down for the cost of goods. Eventually when we're looking at other sort of distribution retailers and stuff, we'll have to, take that into consideration with our pricing. And so we wanted to make sure that we gave the Kickstarter community, the sort of best deal that we could. And, after our Kickstarter, we're looking at probably it being like $100 more, like $12.99. It's going to really depend on, our distribution. But we wanted to make sure that, we're really taking care of that Kickstarter community. And so, giving them the best deal that we can was important to us.
And have you done any calculations on roughly how many of these boards you're going to need to move to break even sort of after the Kickstarter?
Yeah, we have done like some of the calculations and looked at that. We've talked to manufacturers about like what it would cost us in volume. I think it's, it'll be something that we'll be able to reasonably do, and we feel like we can do that with sort of our online and direct sales. But we are looking at like other channels too, and including talking not only to just doing individual sales, but we've also been talking with other companies that are interested in having that like on their campus. So.
Sorry, that's having them on the campus. You mean retailing them, or what do you mean by that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess just selling direct to some companies. So.
Okay, so then, okay, you're going to be manufacturing these after the Kickstarter. Obviously, both the way they're manufactured is going to be quite different after the Kickstarter.
Sorry to cut you off there, but
no, please.
Actually, could you maybe leave off the part of the companies? Yeah, that's something that
the question I was just asking, or the bit you were saying before?
Yeah, just a bit about the companies. That's something we haven't really released. So
that's fine.
Okay.
What I'll do a rough edit, and I'll throw up an unlisted link on YouTube, and you guys can check it out if you want. And then if you're cool with that, I'll put it out.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay. That's cool. Always happens.
Yeah.
It gives me a chance to just take a moment to see where we're up to. Okay. Okay, so obviously we have the Kickstarter campaign itself, and then after the Kickstarter campaign, you're going to be switching from hand manufacturing them to presumably having someone make them for you. So the manufacturing is going to be changing, the pricing is going to be changing, possibly some of the design, I would assume, is going to be improved and changed along the way. So it's going to be fairly different after the Kickstarter than it is now. So what role does Kickstarter itself really play in boosted boards and what you eventually want to do? Like, what role do you see the campaign and the money from Kickstarter playing?
Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, not only is it really going to help us, finish our design, start to enter manufacturing, really, do testing and making sure that we have a good, safe product. Mm-hmm. But the feedback that we get from the Kickstarter community is huge. Like just the amount of sales that we've made tells us that, people actually want this product, and it gives us an idea of what volumes to be able to manufacture in. And we're going to be returning to this Kickstarter community, asking them for their feedback, trying to get the performance requirements from them. And we've also made one of the tiers a beta board, which we'll have out in March, and so those people will actually get it 2 months before anyone else, and they'll be able to give us feedback on the product that we are planning to deliver to the Kickstarter community.
Okay, and how did you actually go about sort of pricing all of this? Like pricing, it's a fairly complex project between the parts, the labor, the shipping, taxes, all the miscellaneous kind of business costs, and especially given that as soon as you get into manufacturing, prices vary radically based on the number of units you're actually ordering. And so I guess I'm wondering, how did you actually price what the final thing was going to be without having really any idea of how many people were going to step up to the plate on Kickstarter?
Yeah, I mean, there's different pricing things that we've done. Early on, it was kind of looking at retail costs, trying to figure out what we could get it in volume. Creating a spreadsheet with the cost of goods that way. But later down the line, that's really where our advisors have really, helped us a lot, is, being able to go to people who have actually gone through this manufacturing and be able to, have them be able to pick out, have you thought about this? And, just really, making sure that we've done a thorough job of that. And then also just talking with some other manufacturers to get different quotes from them, and we've gone to several people on that. So we have a really good idea that has been like vetted and looked at by other people who have gone through this process a lot. So we've felt pretty confident with our pricing and what we could make it for.